This is my spoiler review of The Bad Guys 2. Now, I didn't read anything about this movie coming up. I didn't watch a trailer or anything. I was just sort of with all the mainstream sequels that are, slated to come out. So I did not care. And then one night I had free time. Yeah, so I just bought a ticket and went in. And I have to say, an AMC theater is an aggravating place to watch a movie in. Hey, everything's so expensive. There are like 30 trailers before, and then like 3 advertisements for you to come to the movies, even though they don't have like just, play the movie. I swear there were like 2 Coca-Cola ads that were like really extreme. Like, who has the budget to make these? It's like, drink a Coke or don't drink a Coke. It's there. You'll probably just drink it for the lack of variety. For local theaters, because they show like maybe 2 trailers before the movie. It just felt like too much. So, despite that, I actually really enjoyed my time. Yeah, the theater barely had anybody in it, and I was okay with that, even though I like going to theaters for, different audience reactions. My reaction to The Bad Guys 2 was very good. I laughed a lot. There were a lot of moments where oh, that was beautiful, or oh, I'm so glad that came to fruition. Oh, that was smart. Just a lot of those moments. Oh, it's exactly how the first one was, but with a little bit more. And that little bit more was so needed and so good. Now, I can say that The Bad Guys is very kid-friendly, as in it has a lot of really silly humor, fart jokes, and the dialogue is kept as simple as possible. But that's okay, because the action is still really cool. The stakes that all our characters going through are really scary. And yes, there's something that children and adults can understand about, wanting to meet certain expectations of just crowds of people, whether they're your colleagues, your peers. I guess these days when you're trying to find followers aren't really a topic in the movie, but I feel like there's a certain audience almost everywhere and anywhere that you're always feeling like you're living up to. If that the young, the new bad guys and the slightly older bad guys can relate to and understand, hold against each other. It was cool. I appreciated that very much. God, the opening sequence was gorgeous. It was amazing and absolutely what I love about cartoons. It was just so wonderful. No, Dreamworks might want to make other live action adaptations after their sickening How to Train Your Dragon special panned out well. But most of other Dreamworks movies are anthropomorphic animals. And yeah, that would not look good. If The Lion King wasn't proof enough, no, don't. I would not want to see this in live action. No. So our new, the new bad guys, the young guns that are blackmailing our old bad guys. Yeah, I have mixed feelings. The Raven, played by Natasha Lyonne. Leon? That was a pun they skipped. Good for them. I honestly did not recognize her voice, and if you asked me what her specialty was, I honestly could not tell you, because I feel like she was just sort of a honeypot. She was a sexy distraction. Though the part where her and Snake were into each other, yeah, there was a nuance to that I can appreciate. That is just good directing and animating. But as for the Raven herself, or was she a crow? She was a giant black bird. I want to say she was a raven because ravens are just bigger. Though unlike the spider and the shark, she was an extra large, humanoid size. Yeah, I love the silliness of cartoons. But yeah, if she was a regular size raven with a snake, it would be terrifying. He could swallow her whole in one try. Yeah. Also, there is a point in this movie where Snake exposes that he's been exercising more, so just imagine that long snake body like a boa constrictor, where you think of it as a sausage, one just hunk of meat. No, he proves that snakes are all sorts of complicated muscle systems, and because it's a cartoon they make them all look like abs, but hey, people who see cartoons also want to see abs. Would have guessed. Let's see. And then you had the pig woman who was enormous, almost as big as the shark. She was the chipper one. She was the bruiser with the cute side. And that was fine. I don't love that her accent was like the typical broken English of a Russian accent. Felt like we were past that. Yeah. So, didn't love that. Her design was cool, but yeah. And then we had their leader. I think she's a panther. Played by Danielle Brooks. And I'm so happy that that woman is getting work. She was amazing in Orange is the New Black. And yeah, it was a small thing, but she once had a character on like the Tangled series, and just like that one episode, her singing and her acting with it was amazing. So I'm so happy she's getting work. And yeah, she was more muscles. Like, yeah, she was clever, but I really loved how it was so much focus on how she was a welder and how she had all this brute force and how that showed like through her whole thing. Usually those kind of characters are like the evil general in like, action movies, but that was more her thing. Well, she was just trying to be all laughy and lighthearted. I will say, I felt a little cringe with her black scent. On the one hand, I know that people liked old Dreamworks movies because they felt like representation. And the other, I felt like it was sort of a cliche. Like it was cheap cliche. Am I wrong for that? I don't know. But her acting with it was good overall. So again, very mixed feelings with these new characters. But I do hope to see them again. And the guinea pig? Yeah, he not only had a Hannibal Lecter thing, but also he got swole in prison. And like, I am not kidding, where once again he like really like pulls you into thinking that, he's a dum-dum, but then tricks you. Like, I was so impressed with that. At first I was like, okay, yeah, he's just lonely. Yeah, he just wants some attention. And while that is true, he also had an angle. And it was beautiful. It wasn't totally surprising, but the way they did it still hit. And I respect that. Now, our old bad guys, yeah, they're still fun. They're still the same. Wolf is smooth and charming. He's secretly trying to be a good person, but in this movie, it's like, is it really worth it? To go on humiliating and hopeless job interviews when they're smart enough that they can steal in magnificent ways. Is it worth it? I like that the movie didn't totally answer that. I mean, he did choose to be good overall for, the sake of the world, but on a personal level, the movie gave him an out where he didn't really have to choose. I mean, it looked like he died a heroic death, big spoiler. But no, from that, he and his team got to, reinvent their identities because, their past and their history, so complicated, like so many lies, so many like indictments, just so much. Even if, they did one really big, great, amazing thing, the public would still say, yeah, but yeah, public opinion is so complicated and so damning. So, big spoiler, at the end of the movie, they like become secret agents and they get to, use all their crazy spy skills and like heisting skills, but now to do good. Yay! It's an obvious setup for a third movie. And I don't want a third movie, but I do think that is a cool, happy ending. But honestly, my favorite part of this whole movie, besides the extra, extra crazy animation, like just the bounciness of this whole thing and how you can like pause and see all these details and just like how it was really fast paced but not so much where it was still clear where you could see everything that was happening. That was awesome. But my favorite part, big spoiler, is when they actually get on a rocket and go into space. And the vast emptiness and how they portray it is haunting. It is terrifying and amazing. And I'm just really proud of DreamWorks for doing that for me. Also, I feel like it's really, something of the times where, yeah, almost anybody can go to space. You don't have to be super smart or like trained for years. Anybody can do it if they've got a cell phone or smartphone or smartwatch. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like decades from now, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, people were really like that in the 2020s. That was the thing in the 2020s. Kind of like how when I watch movies in the 80s, everyone was so scared about like those fat old computers like suddenly becoming, artificial intelligence and ruling the world with their evil tendencies. No, no, man is ruling the world with evil technology. The machines are not getting their own opinion on it. No. So, the bad guys. I think anyone can watch it if they're, if their hearts are open to just a really, really silly cartoon. If I could put it on a scale, it's not as awesome as K-pop Demon Hunters, but it is way, way, way more memorable and way more fun than Elio. Seriously, so much more like emotional reward, so much more action to make the brain happy. Just, yeah. It left me feeling so good and happy to have seen it. Yeah. I might see it again in theaters, even though my theater experience was not fun. It was a good enough movie.